Hi, I'm Ross Williams and I'm here to show you how to rig and tune your 2019 Cosmic sail. So first of all, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you rig your sails in the correct place. You don't want to have any sharp objects underneath your sail that can cause damage or anything. So a nice area of grass or sand will do really well. Concrete can work, but as long as your sail doesn't get blown around. First, I'm going to undo the tack strap here and roll out the sail. Okay, next thing we're going to look at is you're going to put the mast in the sail, but first of all you want to make sure that the mast is nice and clean at the ferrule, so there's no sand or dirt that it can get stuck or can make the integrity of the mast break. So once I'm sure that's clean, I'll put them nice and firmly together, and then I should be able to thread the mast up the inside of the luff sleeve. Now, because the Cosmic is a 2-cam sail, I want to make sure that my mast is sleeved up and on top of the cams. So that's pretty easy. It should just guide its way up. Nice and simple. I'm not putting too much pressure on the sail, just using it, not putting on the strap hard, just using it. And when it becomes a bit hard to do, then I'm just going to move up the sail. So then I pull the rest from the middle of the sail, from the boom cutout. Pull it down, and then I'm going to check that the little cap sits in the top of the mast here. Sometimes it can go just to the side, so when you pull tension, your mast can explode out the top of the sail. So you just take your finger, run it down the inside of the mast sleeve, and you should be able to feel that the mast cap is sitting nicely and firmly in the top of the mast. Once you've threaded the mast into the sail, come back to the foot of the sail and you'll find that the settings are written at the bottom here. Luff is for the length of the luff of the sail plus the extension length that you need. The boom is the boom length you need, and the mast is the recommended mast size that you use. We always recommend that you use the Gastra masts because they fit always better with the bends of the sails. And for the Cosmics, we recommend using either a 75% carbon content mast or a 100% carbon mast. It will also fit on a 60% as well, but I highly recommend using a 75% mast, as that's the best balance between affordability and performance. So next, we put the extension into the sail. We roll up the tack fairing to expose the pulley, and we thread the downhaul rope. Okay, so next we're just going to pull a bit of tension on the sail before we put the boom on. We're not going to pull the maximum amount of tension because we have to put the cams on, but just enough with our arm, so that maybe with our foot, so that the mast starts pulling away from the sail and going into the center of the luff sleeve. Just like that. Okay, before we put the boom on, I want to just check again that the mast is together correctly. You should be able to feel the joining because you don't want to have a gap there because it could cause a breakage. And again, just check that the cap is in the top. Once that's done, we're going to take the boom. There's many ways to rig a cambered sail. This is probably the easiest way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab hold of the mast in the middle of the center of the boom cutout, and it should just slip on like this. Wrap the rope around. Now I don't want to have too much, I don't want the boom to be too hard to close the clamp, but I want to have enough tension so the boom won't slip. Okay, next up we want to do the outhaul, so we can check the settings for the boom at the bottom of the sail, and then extend the boom in or out, whatever it needs. And so this one will go on 20. Then you can pull as much outhaul as possible just leave it like that. If that's not the correct setting for your out haul, then you can come and adjust it later. You just want to pull enough tension to make it easy to put the cams on. Okay, now we're going to just pop the cams onto the mast. It's very easy. We have our zip up pockets here. So what you want to do is you want to press down on your batten behind the cam with one hand, and then with the other you can just pop it onto the mast. Make sure that it's nice, fitting nice and comfortable onto the mast. And the second one. I'm not going to zip up the pockets till after I put the downhaul, so I can check again that the cams are on equally. Okay, so next we're going to pull on the downhaul onto the sail. I want to pull enough downhaul to make the leech nice and open, but I want it to open nice and evenly. So yeah, I'm going to pull it down to the settings recommended. See, the leech is falling away. Not all the way to the mast sleeve, but a good way. You want to have a nice even leech. Make the sail feel nice and balanced in the hand. So now I've put on the downhaul, I want to go back and I'm going to check to make sure that the cams are sitting on the mast equally at a 90-degree angle and not at an angle that can put unwanted pressure on your mast. So just check when that's happy, zip up the pocket. Then your sails, then the last thing you want to do is you want to check the batten tension. Take all the creases out the sail. You don't want to over tension, but you want to take most of the wrinkling out the sail so it looks nice and smooth. So now after I've put it on the tension, your sail's ready to go sailing. So next I'm going to show you how to tune your sail to get the most out of the settings. Okay, so there's various ways you can tune your sail. One is with downhaul. You can have less downhaul. It's going to make the sail more closed in the top area. It's going to make the sail feel more powerful, give you a bit more low-end performance, but also it's going to feel a little bit heavier. So maybe you would use it for light winds, but as soon as you feel like the sail's getting heavy, you want to pull a bit more. If you over downhaul your sail, you usually have a feeling that the sail's feeling a little bit unbalanced. It might feel fast in the wind, but when you sail into a hole, then the sail might lose power quickly and you lose the trim of the sail. So you want to make sure you have a nice balance between power, trim, and yeah, so I'll just adjust, have a look at the sail, make sure that the downhaul and the twist of the leech is nice and clean. And then if I'm happy with that, I can move on to the outhaul. Tuning the outhaul is very easy. You just either pull it on or release it. If you have less outhaul, the sail is again going to feel more powerful. And if you have more outhaul, the sail is going to be flatter and it's going to take some of the power out the backhand. So ideally what I want to have is just a nice amount of outhaul. I can test this by pushing on the sail near the boom, and I want to be able to just about touch the sail against the boom. Or when I'm sailing along, I want to be able to see that the sail is literally just touching by a fingertip to the boom. If it's touching the boom all the way to the harness line, the sail might feel more powerful but less controllable. And if you have too much outhaul, the sail is going to again feel a little bit unbalanced and it's going to lack power. So it's nice to have the correct amount, make the sail again feel nice and balanced. Okay, the other thing you can adjust is the boom height. Depending on the weather conditions, you might like to have a higher boom. The higher boom is going to be useful for allowing you to be able to pull up the nose of your board, get a little more power, make it a bit easier to fly off the fin. When the wind is stronger, you're not going to want that, so you probably want to lower the boom. I usually have a boom height of between chest and chin height, depending on the wind strength. Chin height for lighter, chest for stronger. The lower you put the boom, the more control you have. The higher you put the boom, the more you're able to lift and make the board and the sail feel free from the water. So find a happy setting for you, and then you're ready to go sailing. Just one more thing you want to do, make sure that your downhaul is tied off. And then at the bottom on the tack fairing, we have this little pocket. You can put your batten tensioner in there, or your excess rope can just tuck away there so it's all out the way. And then you can fold down, plug the tail in the board, fold down the tack strap, tack fairing, and you're ready to go sailing.